In the heart of a bustling city, where glass skyscrapers cast long shadows over cracked sidewalks, Aisha stood outside the grand marble lobby of Pinnacle Enterprises, clutching a worn portfolio. Her heart pounded with a mix of hope and dread, her palms damp against the leather cover. She was a young black woman, barely 25, with dreams too big for the small, prejudiced town she'd left behind. Today was her chance, a job interview for a junior architect position at one of the city's most prestigious firms. She'd spent months perfecting her designs, sketching late into the night in her cramped apartment, fueled by instant noodles and ambition. But as she stepped into the lobby, its towering columns and polished floors gleaming under chandeliers, she felt the weight of eyes on her. The receptionist, a sharp-featured woman named Margaret, glanced up from her desk, her smile thinning as she took in Aisha's modest blazer and slightly frayed shoes. "You must be the scholarship applicant," Margaret said, her tone dripping with assumption. Aisha's stomach twisted, but she forced a smile, nodding as she handed over her resume. The humiliation stung, a familiar burn from years of being underestimated, but she swallowed it, clinging to her dream. The interview room was a sterile box of glass and steel, and sitting across from Aisha was Victor Hargrove, the firm's lead architect, and a man whose name adorned city skylines. His silver hair gleamed under the fluorescent lights, and his cold blue eyes scanned her portfolio with barely concealed disdain. "Your work is quaint," he said, tossing her designs onto the table. "But we're looking for innovation, not charity cases." Aisha's cheeks burned, her fingers digging into her thighs as she fought to keep her voice steady. She explained her vision, sustainable buildings that prioritized community needs, but Victor cut her off. "This firm builds for the elite, not for your kind of people," he said, his words slicing through her. The rejection wasn't just personal, it was a dismissal of her entire existence, a reminder of the systemic barriers she'd faced since childhood. As she left head bowed, the lobby seemed to mock her, its opulence a stark contrast to the defeat pooling in her chest. That evening, Aisha sat on a park bench, the city's neon lights flickering in the distance. Her anger simmered, but beneath, it was a quiet resolve. She wasn't done yet. Unbeknownst to her, someone had been watching. An older man, dressed in a tailored coat that seemed out of place in the chilly park, approached her. His name was Elias Monroe, a retired architect whose name was whispered in industry circles like a legend. His warm brown eyes held a spark of recognition as he sat beside her. "I saw your designs in the lobby," he said, his voice gravelly, but kind. "You dropped a sketch, it's brilliant, visionary even." Aisha blinked, stunned, as he handed her the crumpled paper she hadn't noticed was missing. Elias wasn't just any retiree. He was the founder of Pinnacle Enterprises, long since stepped back but still holding significant influence. He saw in Aisha what Victor couldn't, raw talent and a perspective that could reshape the industry. "Meet me tomorrow at the old library on 5th Street, he said. "I have something to show you." The next day, Aisha arrived at the dusty library, its oak shelves sagging under forgotten books. Elias led her to a private room, where he revealed a secret that made her heart race. Decades ago, he'd created a trust fund for young architects from marginalized communities, a fund Victor had buried to maintain his elitist control over the firm. Aisha's portfolio, Elias explained, qualified her for a grant that could fund her own architectural project, a community center she'd dreamed of building in her underserved neighborhood. But there was more. Elias had uncovered a hidden talent in Aisha's designs. Her ability to blend cultural heritage with modern sustainability, a skill so unique it could redefine urban architecture. This wasn't just a grant, it was a chance to lead a movement. Aisha's chest swelled with a mix of disbelief and determination. For the first time, she felt seen, not as a charity case, but as a force. Victor, meanwhile, was the embodiment of the system that had kept Aisha down. His prejudice wasn't just personal, it was woven into Pinnacle's culture where only the privileged thrived. He'd built his empire on exclusion, dismissing talent like Aisha's to maintain his power. But Aisha's new opportunity set the stage for a reckoning. With Elias's backing, she entered her community center design into a national architecture competition, one Victor was judging. She spent weeks refining her plans, pouring her heart into every line, every curve, inspired by the resilience of her community. The night of the competition, held in a packed town hall with wooden beams and flickering lights, the air buzzed with anticipation. Aisha stood at the podium, her voice steady as she presented her vision. A center that would provide education, healthcare, and opportunity to those the city had ignored. The audience, a mix of industry giants and local residents, leaned forward captivated. Victor's face, visible in the front row, twisted with recognition and dread. The dramatic irony was palpable. The very designs Victor had dismissed as quaint were now the talk of the industry. Aisha's project won the competition, earning her not just funding, but a platform to expose Pinnacle's discriminatory practices. In a bold move, she used her acceptance speech to reveal the hidden trust fund, citing documents Elias had provided. The crowd gasped and cameras flashed as Victor's legacy unraveled. Reporters swarmed, uncovering years of suppressed talent and buried opportunities. Victor's downfall was swift. Clients pulled out, and Pinnacle's board forced him to step down. Aisha felt a surge of satisfaction, not from vengeance, but from the restoration of justice. Her success wasn't just personal, it was a blow against the system that had tried to silence her. In the months that followed, Aisha's community center rose from the ground, its vibrant murals and solar panels a testament to her vision. The building became a hub for the neighborhood, offering free classes and job training, a beacon of hope where there had been none. Aisha's name became synonymous with change, her story inspiring others to challenge prejudice in their own fields. As she stood in the center's courtyard on its opening day, surrounded by laughing children and grateful families, she felt a quiet pride. The humiliation of that first rejection had fueled her, but it was her dignity and talent that had triumphed. Victor, now a footnote in the industry, could only watch from afar, his regret a silent acknowledgement of the brilliance he'd underestimated. The moral was clear: never judge someone's worth by the surface, for the unseen can reshape the Yao world.